Hi there, it's John here. It's Tuesday night and I have a song to play for you. We're in week 6 of the songwriting challenge and I have to get the words curriculum and straighten into a song in the key of D sharp. And so this is what I've come up with. Now, I'll give you a bit of a background to the song because my first little attempt I shared with a friend and he was like, nah, don't do that. And I had this, do you remember, I am the very model of a modern major general. I had this kind of iambic pentameter kind of thing in my head, and I was going to go, a curriculum of science and the maths and of biology can help you only fit into the centre of society and all this sort of stuff. And it was a bit of a ragey kind of schools out kind of song. But then I completely changed that and I made up a new word. And actually, when I was thinking about curriculum, I started to think about, well, what does a curriculum that's broader than just school look like? What does a curriculum that applies to the whole world look like? And I used to speak quite a lot about developing a curriculum of Christ-likeness and thinking about this whole path of Christian discipleship, about being like a curriculum of growth, and so a curriculum of kindness. What does it look like to develop kindness in our life through a curriculum that we put together? And so we used to do that and have a lot of fun doing it. So we'd go off and paint people's houses, and that was all part of the curriculum of developing charity and stuff. So but I didn't go to Christian virtues. Actually, I went to something even more ancient than that, I suppose, with Aristotle. And so he lists 12 virtues, and I've got them all into the song. I have to say this is probably the most ambitious songwriting attempt I've ever done, because I'm trying to get the ideas of courage, temperance, liberality, magnificence, pride, honour, good temper, friendliness, truthfulness, wit, friendship and justice into a song. And also get the word curriculum and straighten in there too. So the way I've structured the song, you'll see, I tell it as a story, and I've made up a word, and the word is virtue-ology. So the title of the song is called The Professor of Virtue-ology. Virtue-ology, the study of virtue. I was having a great conversation with my son Monty in the car as we were going off to wash it the other week, and we were having this big philosophical conversation, and he was making up some brilliant words, and he was talking about philosophy and talking about theology and what ology means, and we were saying it's the study of, and he said, well, is it philosophology? I was like, or philosophology. So we've come up with these brilliant words, and so I've come up with, I thought in the spirit of our conversation I'd make up this song about the Professor of Virtue-ology, and it's all about her giving a speech which talks about the need for virtue to become part of everything that we think about. So it's just it's kind of an interesting thought. It's an interesting topic of study, I think, for a song, and it's been really fun to write, but it probably, I don't know, I'm not 100% about it. I think I still need to work on it a bit, but I'll play it to you and I'll see what you think. Now, one of the things I love about Aristotle's 12 virtues is there's this joie de vivre, it's French, but anyway, it translates as the joy of living, and so I really like that phrase, and I thought, you know, we need to rediscover the joy of living in our lives, and so that's kind of a part of the song too. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to play this to you, and I might make a few mistakes because it's about 1 million words in it, but it's quick because it's you know, I came up with this little theme. So here, this is the theme. So that's kind of, for me, that kind of gives a real kind of dancey dum 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 dum. So that's kind of the speed of it. But I won't play it that fast to you now because I won't make it through the whole thing. So anyway, this is the Professor of Virtue-ology. Okay. Wish me luck. Okay. Professor of Virtue-ology walked in the hall and stood at the podium, and she said, imagine, if you will, with me, a world where the virtues are part of core curriculum, where character is at the heart of every subject taught, and courage stands at the core of every human thought, where valor strengthens the center of our heart, and hope leads us towards the best is yet to come. Just imagine, and just imagine a world where the nations are brave and cultures are tempered by those who show restraint, where people are known for the largeness of their heart, and everyone knows the joy of living, not just for a few, but where this is the norm, because virtue is the birthright of every child that's born. Together we must forge in the crucible of truth, a world where these virtues are the center of it all. We need a virtual revolution, oh, where goodness and kindness shine out on the world that we live in. Let's strengthen the crooked ways and brighten our darkest ways. You know, we can start a virtue revolution. Can be a part of a virtue revolution. Professor of Virtue-ology continued with her speech, and every ear was listening. She said, dream a little if you will with me, of a world where virtue shapes our living, where goodness is at the heart of every industry, and truthfulness at the core of all our human speech, where beauty and joy are the visions that we seek, where we strive to practice all that we speak. Just imagine, just imagine a world where we take pride in our work, and communities where we show respect for everyone during difficult times, where people keep their cool and we learn at all times to be friendly to all, where truth is told and laughter is shared, where friendship grows and fairness is shared, not just for a few, but where this is the norm, because virtue is a birthright of every person born. Together we must forge in the crucible of truth, a world where these virtues are the center of it all. You know it's possible if we all do our part. A revolution is near and it starts with us. So we need a virtue revolution, where kindness and goodness shine out in this world that we live in, and straighten the crooked ways and brighten our darkest ways. You know we can start a virtue revolution. Oh, can be a part of a virtue revolution. It will arise. Come on, revolutionize. Today, don't hesitate. Can bring about a virtue revolution. So, yeah, big ending, I guess. There you go, that's the song. I made some clangers, lots of mistakes, but there's a lot of words, and I only really finished it off a bit earlier today. So, yeah, I had a bit of a late night until 1 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out how to get 12 virtues into a song about a virtue revolution, which is kicked off by some Professor of Virtue-ology in a lecture hall. And I did go somewhere else with the song. I was trying to go, the lawyer in the crowd wondered what if, something was at the heart of all law. What would happen if an architect had magnificence in all he drew, and all this sort of stuff. So I kind of went there, and then I thought, no, I'm just going to pull it back a bit and just trying to keep it a bit more general so that people can make their own connections to their own lives and work and stuff about how does virtue factor in my life as whatever it happens to be. So that's the kind of idea of it. And this professor is like a bit of a revolutionary. It's a virtue revolution, not a virtual revolution, a virtue revolution. And the song talks a little bit about how we can be part of that. It needs to start with us, and it's in our very actions, virtuous actions and virtuous living, as opposed to the other stuff. And as I tried to weave into the thing about moral decay, but I chose not to go there because I felt it was a little bit, I don't know, a little bit preachy perhaps, stemming moral decay. So no, anyway, that's the song, the Professor of Virtue-ology. It's going to be faster than that, and I need to just trim some of the words down, and I need to obviously, you know, play it properly with the right chords. But I kind of like it. Yeah, I do like it. Again, it's really different from anything I've written before, and I want to play around a little bit with the melody, and I'll probably play around a bit with the chords anyway. And like last week with the Paradox of Love, you know, the song kept writing itself as I was recording it, and as I started arranging it, it just took a little bit of a different form to what I sang to you when I did a similar video last week. So I'm going to start the recording process pretty soon, and I'm going to get the sort of dancey thing going, and then see how the song then shapes around the arrangement a bit more. So that's the way I'm going to play it, I think. And hopefully on Thursday, if I can, I'll try and do a little bit of a recording update for you. Again, this is a long video, sorry about that. But again, you know, it's one of those songs which needs a bit of context and for you to get a bit of the idea that led to the song's inception. So there you go. That's the Professor of Virtue-ology. I could call it a virtue revolution. I could call it, I don't know. There's quite a few things I could call it, but I'm going to call it the Professor of Virtue-ology because I can absolutely guarantee there's not another song called it, like Prudence's Blueprint for Life. Although then I did realise, okay, when it comes up on the thing, that the Beatles did a song called Dear Prudence. There you go, Prudence is popular. I didn't know that song when I wrote Prudence's Blueprint for Life, but there you go. The Beatles were there before me. I can't claim that a song about Prudence was original anymore. But anyway, yeah, you know, Prudence's Blueprint for Life certainly is a very, very different song to what the Beatles did. Anyway, this is this week, the Professor of Virtue-ology, and just to say that the Paradox of Love will be out in the stores fairly soon. Prudence is out there now everywhere, so check her out, and I will love you and leave you. I'm off to a writers group down the pub now, the books we write, and I might share with them a few of my songs, so that's going to be good. It's always nice to meet with other writers and to share some of our ideas and thoughts, and I might just read them these words and see what they think. They might give me a few good ideas. Okay, right, over and out everybody, and take care, and I'll see you Thursday. All right, bye.